Hey, what's up? We're banging out a few videos today, and on that point, before we get into the video I've prepared for you, I just wanted to bring up a point which is something that I always bring into a lot of coaching sessions with clients, and it comes down to you doing something or you're not. And a lot of people, it's ancient wisdom sort of thing that there's no perfect time to do anything. The right time is now. You can probably tell it's probably not the best lighting at this time of day to actually shoot a video, but you know, if I wasn't going to do it, I'd just forget about it and put 100% attention into doing something else. But I'm doing it, so I'm going to give it all I've got. And you know, the right time to shoot a video is now. So we're going to do it, and you're going to get the same picture regardless of whether there's good lighting, perfect lighting or not. There's no perfect time to do anything. So what we're talking about today, because I do mention this in a few different videos, is the fact that there are multiple dimensions. And whether or not you can see it yourself or perceive or understand the idea of multiple dimensions doesn't mean that they're not there. So I'm going to show you a simple way to understand it, and I'll put a couple of links in the bottom. Well, I don't know how to put links in, so I'm going to put some cut and paste things in a description. I'm sure you guys can handle cutting and pasting that and finding out how to do it yourself. And there are two videos that I've found that quite simply explain or will give you an idea of how to understand the concept of multiple dimensions. And I'm going to show you how I've illustrated it myself today. So a little bit of quick background information. We perceive a lot of things. I mean, if you just looked at a square, for example, that's a two-dimensional shape. Turn it into a cube, that's a three-dimensional shape. And that's the dimension that most of us live our lives in. And it's really, a lot of people are limited to that third dimension and don't allow their consciousness to expand into other multiple dimensions beyond that. Now, mathematically speaking, there are 10 dimensions, because once you get to the 10th dimension from a mathematical point of view, it comes back on itself and becomes one dimension again. So if you looked at that in a circular point of view, or a cycle, you'd have 1 up here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the same as you would just do on a one-dimensional scale of a circle, you would just come back to, or a two-dimensional scale, you come back to 1 up the top and start the cycle again. So the way I see dimensions, though, is that there are really, the way I see it, infinite dimensions. And so instead of trying to explain it mathematically, I'll explain it in the way that if you put a mirror up to another mirror, you'll see an infinite number of mirrors. There's no, I don't care how many ways you can mathematically describe that, there's basically an infinite number of mirrors. So rather than looking at it as dimensions 1 through 10, I've got it written as infinite dimensions is equal to 1 of 1 dimension through 10, turns into 2 of dimensions 1 through 10, which goes into 3 dimensions 1 through 10, and so on and so forth to infinity. So rather than look at it in just a logical mathematical way, that's a semi-mathematical way, but that can show you how we can end up with infinite dimensions. Now, the way most people perceive life is that we see it as a continuum. We see a start and a finish. We see birth and death. And we see events that happen on a continuum. So we're young, we're old. We're working, we're playing. We're happy, we're sad. We're rich, we're poor. And these are all individual events that people perceive on a scale of time or continuum of time. We're single, we're partnered up with somebody or what have you. And then what happens is, because there's a start and a finish, although some religions and things talk about reincarnation, you know, what happens after death? I mean, most people don't see that the cycle continues and it comes to here. A tree, for example, when that dies, or a plant, it decays, it turns into the soil, fungus feeds on the soil, and then it becomes, it'll feed something else, it'll turn into another plant, it'll regrow, and the life cycle will start again. Same happens with us. It doesn't mean you have to believe that we come back as a butterfly, or a rock, or another person. You know, these sorts of things are up to you to decide how the cycle of life happens, but basically, in a broad scale, life does recycle. So the way I've come up with it, and I saw it in a vision, and a lot of the visions, which I'll start sharing these with you guys in subsequent videos, but basically it usually happens when I'm having a nap. I generally nap once or twice a day for 20 minutes, and while I'm sort of drifting off into other places, I'll often receive visions and ways of understanding, and I guess a way I can explain to other people and illustrate it so that you can understand some perhaps more complex concepts that exist in, well, I mean, these aren't even complex. The only reason they're complex is because we spend so much time in the matrix world, and we're, I guess, blinded to the greater realities of life. So, let's see if I can see this in the mirror here. So, what I've got here is an illustration. Now, what this is, of course, I'm a wonderful artist, so that is a baby. and that's a diaper. So what we have here is we see life like a story, same as the continuum that you can see down there. We see it as a story. So here's birth, and then here it folds out like a story, and it's sunny and it's daytime and we're awake. It's nighttime, we're maybe getting older, we're sleeping, and then eventually we're dead and buried under the ground. But in reality, this doesn't happen in a one-dimensional scale. What really happens, or the way I saw it and the way I could illustrate it, is that all of these things exist at one time, because time is just something that we've made up. So here, rather than there being a continuum, at the same time, we're old, we're young, we're a couple, we're single, we're happy, we're sad, we have different colours happening, and you can see that the whole cycle of everything happens at once. And if we fold it back up, we see that there is just the one event, and it contains all the events within it. So perceiving life as we have to be at a certain place at a certain time. I can't believe I'm not married yet. I can't believe I'm not this, that, or the other. I can't believe I haven't achieved this yet. I don't have this much money yet. Just if you can perhaps break out of that cycle just for a moment and consider that there are multiple other ways that this can be happening, or that they've already happened, or it's happening right now. It's just that you're not perceiving it. Perhaps you can just bring a bit of stillness back and stop trying to project into the future and remember the past, and start really trying to be in the moment and live in the present. So I hope that made some sort of sense to you. I know that sometimes my way of explaining things and sometimes my drawings make sense to me and me only, but I think that's a fairly simple way to look at it, and I hope that that illustrated to you the fact that a lot of things can be happening at one time despite the fact that you may not be perceiving it. So check out those other YouTube videos I'm going to put in the description, and then just keep this in mind. If you have any other questions on dimensions and multiple dimensions and multiverses, send them in. I'm going to be covering them at one time or another anyway. So other than that, hope you enjoyed it. Check you later.